The region is enormous. It's about 1/6 of the planet. There are over a score independent countries in the region. They've been divided in a kind of quite post-colonial way into 3 large regions: Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. And through the kind of Five Eyes construct and some other constructs, different parts of the zone have been kind of led from a strategic perspective from different countries. So Polynesia was, to a large degree, New Zealand. Melanesia, which is kind of the lower left-hand quadrant, was Australia. And Micronesia was the United States, in part because that's where Guam is, which is part of the United States, US territory with US citizens, same for the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas. And also the 3 freely associated states, Palau, which we'll speak about a little bit with Dr. Hayakawa, Marshall Islands, and the Federated States of Micronesia. These are independent countries, but they have a compact of free association with the United States, where the United States takes care of their defense and security. Understanding this construct is kind of important for the discussion we're going to have. The region tends to be discussed as the Pacific Islands, or inaccurately the South Pacific, which would not include, for example, the Micronesian countries. But each country, each of the 3 countries that we have represented here, US, Japan, and Australia, actually have a very different view and engagement with different parts of the region. Now, what happened was this was sort of staggering along as a strategic construct and having some difficulties. And those difficulties became very, very clear when China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited the region recently. These are the exclusive economic zones of the countries that he physically visited. This is, of course, during a time of COVID, when these countries had quarantine restrictions in place, but they essentially waived quarantine restrictions to let Wang Yi in, restricted their own media coverage, and did a whole series of things that showed how close the relationship was becoming, in the case of some countries, with China. And in particular, the Solomon Islands, which signed a security agreement with China that I think surprised a lot of people, with the depth of the potential engagement of including Chinese military troops in the region. Now, the region's leaderships are very varied in their response to this. So while Prime Minister Sogavare of the Solomon Islands has been receptive to Chinese advances, President Panuelo of Federated States of Micronesia wrote a very strong letter explaining why he thought that this sort of engagement was a really bad idea. So the leaders of the region are looking for different options, some more closer to China, some more closer to new partners or renewed relationships with existing partners.